All right, so we are finishing up chapter 7 with 7.2. Talks about how we're going to do a statement of owner's equity and a balance sheet and what that all entails. So we're learning objective owner's equity balance sheet. Remember, we're still doing a sole proprietorship. So, a few of the notes, not as many as the first section. But where we're going to get some of this, they always make a big deal about it on some questions, and so we want to make sure we understand what's going on. Preparing owner's equity from the information from the worksheet. So you're getting this information from the account titles and the account balances of the balance sheet. So you're going to identify where capital is in the balance sheet part, not trial balance, the drawing part of the balance sheet, and then the net income of that balance sheet. And that probably doesn't matter as much, but we're just using it all from the balance sheet. And what is the statement of owner's equity? It shows us all the changes in this capital account for a period of time. Our fiscal period was usually 1 month segments. It could be asking for a yearly statement as well. Doesn't matter. It shows the user how the capital account has been affected by net income or net loss. Okay, and owner's withdrawals. So if you think about it, if you own a business, you put $1,000 into the company, that's your $1,000 capital. In this example, it's $2,000. Okay, all your net income for the company, if you're a sole proprietor, goes to you. So you add net income to your capital, and the drawing is you taking money out of the account, so you would subtract the drawing. Now, in this question, if they asked you for a net loss, you take all the money you made, or you put into it, the capital, minus the net loss, minus the drawing. So you're always minusing the drawing from capital. And then it's just a matter of if you add net income or if you subtract a net loss. And that's what we're doing. So part of the owner's equity, the heading, who, what, when. And we're always doing 4 month ended for the worksheet, balance sheet, or the worksheet, the income statement, and the statement of owner's equity. So after the heading, you're going to list capital in the right-hand column. You are going to take net income minus drawing, and you're going to add and put that number here, and then you're going to add the two to get capital. We'll call this our current capital. And they're talking about it here. They just go give you the steps, subtract the balance from the drawing account, record it. So subtract the drawing from the net income and get the new total. Okay. Now, they don't give you this for how to get current capital when it's a net income for whatever reason. But what we just did, if you can imagine a capital account balance here, plus net income minus drawing is current capital. Now, if we're dealing with a net loss, current capital amount would be less than the capital balance. Hopefully that makes sense. If you're dealing with a net loss, you will have less money than you started with. So you started with $6,000, you subtract the net loss because it's your company, it's the sole proprietorship, and then you always subtract drawing. So here, they don't give you that same kind of setup, but you can see we're subtracting drawing. So we're always subtracting drawing. It's just a matter of if we're adding a net income, and they're taking net income minus drawing here. But if it was a net loss, you'd add those two numbers up. This isn't the world's best way to do it. I often think of it as this way. Capital minus net loss minus drawing equals current capital, or capital plus net income minus drawing equals current capital. I think that's the easiest way. So, besides the statement of owner's equity, we need to prepare a balance sheet. And where are we getting this information again? You're getting it from two places on the worksheet, the account title area and the balance sheet columns. And that's what they're talking about here. We can, again, just give information from the ledgers and try to summarize it. So what the balance sheet is doing is showing a report of all this financial information within a specific date. And so what we will show you what that means in the heading here in a minute. If a business has adequate available assets and has few liabilities, then that means the business is financially strong. Obviously, if it's the other way, it'd be financially weak. But we always think, is it financially strong? Yeah, if we have more assets and liabilities, more things that we own versus people we owe money to, that's good. And so what we want to do is organize these assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. And we will do the balance sheet after we do the statement of owner's equity. So here, the balance sheet is a specific date in time. That's what they're getting at over here. And they make a big deal about it, and people mess it up. So I always try to show so we get less and less mistakes on it. Who, what, when. The when is no longer 4-month ended when we're doing the balance sheet. It is a snapshot of that specific day, the last day of the fiscal period. The balance sheet will have assets on the left side, liabilities on the right to start. So we list our assets from the balance sheet, and they're all going to be debits out of that area, if you remember. So we're listing all these on the left side. We'll list the two payables on the right. And we have headings, assets, liabilities. Okay, we have total liabilities here. And it talks about how the assets are on the left of the accounting equation. So they're on the left side of the balance sheet. Liabilities are on the right of the accounting equation. So liabilities on the right side. Where you get this information again, we talked about it there. The balance sheet proves our accounting equation that we talked about the first day of accounting, that assets equals liabilities, owner's equity. So when we prepare this who, what, when, we have assets on the left with total assets. We have a heading of liabilities and total liabilities. You add the two payables up. We will then have the heading of owner's equity, and we will take the current capital, even though it says Mike Delgado Capital, 4,012 is the current capital that we found when we did the statement of owner's equity. Michael Delgado Capital of the statement of owner's equity, 4,012, is now the current capital that we use when we fill out the balance sheet. So you figure it out on the statement of owner's equity, you place it on the balance sheet, you add total liabilities to total capital, because remember the accounting equation, assets equals total liabilities plus total capital. These two numbers should equal. If they equal, again, that's the great thing about accounting, then you know you probably did it right. So that is our two problems, the two financial statements in this section. Make sure that your capital that you're using is the current capital you found in the statement of owner's equity. That's the most common mistake. All right, that's it.